Guys, and welcome to the channel. And in this video we are going to be drafting a trouser, okay, a straight trouser using the freehand method, right? So I don't want to waste much of our time. Without much ado, let's delve straight into the tutorial. So first thing first is this: the basic measurement that we'll be needing is your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your knee measurement, your waist to your knee, your waist to knee measurement, your thigh measurement, your trouser length, okay. And those are the basic measurement that you'll be needing for this, okay. So now first thing first is this: we're going to be drafting the front piece first before we place and draft the back piece as well, okay. So now what we are going to do now is, how do you determine the amount of fabric that you're going to be having on fold? Now this is what we are going to be doing. My hip measurement is, we are going to be using the biggest part of the measurement, okay. My hip measurement that I'm working with here is 40, right? So 40 divided by 4 is going to be 40 divided by 4 is 10, okay. So now the 10, right, this 10, now 10 plus, we'll be adding 1 inch sewing allowance, okay, plus 1, that is 11. Now how do you get your cross extension for the front? We are going to be having your hip divided by 16, okay. So my hip divided by 16 is 2.5, right? Is 2.5. So now to determine the amount of fabric that we are going to be having on this, or we are going to be having, okay, to avoid wastage, is this 11 that we have here plus 2.5, making 13.5, okay. So we're going to be having 13.5 inches on fold, okay. So now that is in on fold. So let's see whether we have 13.5 inches here, okay. We have 13.5 inches here. You can see what we have here. So this is what we are going to be using to draft our front piece. So first thing first is, I've already gone ahead to fold the front piece like this, okay. 13.5. I've already gone ahead to fold the front piece this way. So what we are going to do next is, I am going to be cutting it up. So instead of adding the 1 inch, you can decide to add 1.5 inches depending on what you are comfortable with. As for the sewing allowance, okay, there is no standard that this is how much that you can add to your as your sewing allowance, okay. Sorry, my so guys, here is what we are going to be using to draft our front piece. So what I'm going to do next is this. What I'm going to do next is this: I am going to be coming down here by 1 inch. I'm going to be coming down here by 1 inch so that we can get, at the end of the day, we are going to be having our ½ inch sewing allowance, okay. So I'll come down here by 1 inch. So all the lines here is going to start from here. Now I'm going to be using a band of 1.5. Now I'm going to be using a band of 1.5, okay. So you can go ahead to make use of a band of 2 inches depending on what you are comfortable with. In my own case, the thing is, there is no standard to all these things, okay, but don't go overboard. So this is 1.5 inches. So all my lines, all my vertical measurement now is going to be starting from this 1.5, okay. So I'm going to be placing my 1.5 on this line and measure the length of my trouser, okay. So the length of the trouser that I'm working with here is 40 inches. So I'm going to be taking my 40 inches down, then plus 2 inches for the hemming allowance, okay. You need the hemming allowance plus 2 inches for the hemming allowance. So this is the length of my trouser, okay. So the next thing we need to do now is to take from the waist to the hip, okay. The waist working with here is 7.5 inches, okay. So I'll impute my 7.5 inches here. That is all. Remember, all the lines, all the vertical lines is going to be starting from the 1.5. 1.5 is going to be our band, okay. So 7.5 inches the waist to the hip, okay. So the next thing is to take our crotch length measurement. Now how do you determine your crotch length measurement? For this particular piece I'm making, I sat down on a flat surface. So you can sit down on a flat surface. You take your tape to wherever you wear your trouser piece from, then you measure to the surface of the seat, okay. That is how to take your crotch measurement. So the crotch length I'm working with here, there are several ways of doing this, okay, but for this particular piece, this is what I am going to be using, okay. Or you can divide your hip by 4 and you get your crotch length measurement, okay. So now what I'm going to do now is, my crotch length measurement is 9.5. So I'm going to be imputing my 9.5 here, okay. So this is my crotch length measurement, 9.5. So the next thing we need to do now is to take the knee length measurement, okay. So my knee measurement, my knee length measurement. Okay, from my waist to my knee is 21 inches, so I'll be taking my 21 inches like so. So here is my knee line measurement. Okay, so the rest is the hem of the trouser. Okay, so now we need our thigh measurement. Okay, we need our thigh measurement. So I am going to, you can, to get your thigh measurement, you come down from your crotch length measurement, crotch length, from your crotch length area by 3 inches. Okay, that is how to get your thigh line measurement. Okay, so on this thigh line measurement, I'll be imputing my thigh on this, but though you can still do away with this type, but I want the hip I'm working with here is 40, right? So 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So what I'm going to do here is, the sewing allowance is, we are going to be using ½ inch to sew the crotch area and ½ inch to sew the side. Okay, so making one. You can as well go ahead to add 1.5 if you want to be at the safer side, that is still fine. So but for this, I don't want too much allowance on this trouser piece, so I'm going to make use of only 1 inch, right? So 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 1 making 11, so I'll be imputing 11 here. Okay, so I'll have my 11 inches here, all the way to the waist, to the waistline. Then I'll connect my line like this. Okay, now to get our crotch extension, the crotch extension, you are going to be using our hip divided by 16. Okay, so my hip divided by 16 is 2.5, so I'm going to be imputing my 2.5 from this hip, from where the hip measurement stop. Okay, so I'm going to be imputing my 2.5 here. Okay, so now when you impute it this way, I'm going to be coming, no, I'm going to I'm going to be coming here by 0.75, right? 0.75. Okay, so now when I come up by 0.75, what I'm simply do is I'll connect my line. You can make use of your freehand, or you can make use of your ruler like this. Okay, so I'll make sure that this my ruler touches the 0.75 inch that I went up by, so I'll connect it like this. I hope you see that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now, for this trouser piece, I am not going to be using that. Okay, there's not going to be that for both the front and the back, and it works so perfectly well. So because of that, I am going to be going in here from the center waistline. I'm going to be going in here by ½ then I'll connect it like so. Okay, I'll connect it like so. Now on this ½ that we came in by, we are going to take our waist measurement. Okay, so the waist measurement I'm working with here is 30. Okay, now to have a very fitted trouser piece on your waistline, what I do most times, what I do all the time, is I reduce 1 inch from my original waist measurement. So I'm working with the waist of 30 minus 1, making 29. Okay, so I'm going to be dividing 29 by 4, right? So I'm going to be dividing my 29 by 4. Okay, so here's my 29 by 4, right? Then plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Okay, ½ inch here and ½ inch by this side, 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Then I'll connect it to my hip line. I hope you get. I'll connect it to my hip line like this. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do now is to take what we have from here, from this crotch extension to this hip area here. Okay, we'll take what we have here. We are going to be dividing it by 2. We want to get the middle point of this our trouser, that is a crease line. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. You divide what you have here. Okay, you divide what you have here, then you will mark it. You will measure what you have from the midpoint to this one, which is 6.5. So I am going to be taking the 6.5 all the way down. I'm going to be taking the 6.5 all the way down. Okay, so I want to take the 6.5 all the way down. So what we're going to do now is to measure our thigh. We are going to measure in the thigh measurement. Okay, just measure your thigh. Okay, you can make it fitted depending on how fitted you want the trouser piece to be. Just measure your thigh. So the thigh I'm working with here is 22. So you're going to be dividing your 22 by 2. Okay, so 22 divided by 2 is 11. But you've already gone ahead to further divide this piece into 2. So that 11, we are going to be sharing it equally in between these two lines. Okay, so 11 divided by 2 is going to be giving us 5.5. Okay, 11 divided by 11, so 11 plus 1 for the sewing allowance, making 12. Okay, so we are going to be having 6 here. Okay, and we're going to be having 6 here. So you further divide the 12 into 2, 6 here. So the knee measurement I'm working with here is 14. So 14 plus 1 as well for the sewing allowance, making 15. Okay, you can as well add 1.5 inches or 2 inches, depending on what you are comfortable with. Okay, so now 14, so 14 plus 1 making 15. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be dividing the 15 by 2, which is 7.5, right? Then the 7.5, I'm going to be sharing it equally in between these two lines here, okay, to have a balanced piece. Okay, so the 7.5 will give us 3.2. We further divide it into 2 like so. Okay, 3.75, then 3.75. Okay, so I want to make it into a straight trouser. So what I have on this knee line, okay, I'm going to be bringing it here. Okay, I'm going to be bringing it here, 3.75, 3.75. So I'll connect the lines like this. Like I said, to be on the safer side, you can add like 1.5 inches, okay, or 2 inches to your as your allowance. Okay, add like 1.5 or 2 inches as your allowance. It's still fine. Okay, like so. Okay, you can see the way I'm connecting the line. Make sure you don't have any sharp points or any funny shape around this area, so we can now cut out. Then before we cut out, we are going to be adding 1/2 inch to the upper part for the joining allowance. Okay, add 1/2 inch for the joining allowance. Okay, so now let's move. I've gone ahead to cut the front piece. Okay, so we are going to be cutting using this front piece to cut the back piece. So guys, we are going to be using the front piece to cut the back piece. Okay, so your back piece should be at least 4 to 5 inches bigger than the front piece. So what I'm going to do now is I will make the necessary. I'll fold the fabric like this. Okay, so I'll check what I have here, and I'll have 2 inches. Okay, I have to, you can have like 2 inches at this side or 3 inches at this side. For a bigger person can have like 2 inches, 3 inches, then here as well. So your back piece should be like 4 to 5 inches longer and bigger than the front piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place it like so. Okay, then now you rule out the lines. Okay, you rule out your lines like this, right? You rule out your lines this way. Now after ruling out your lines, what I'm going to do now is this on the waist area. Okay, on the waist area at this side here, I'm going to be coming in here by 2 inches. This is to give the back the bum a shape. Okay, to give the bum the right shape. Okay, now I'm going to be coming in here by 2 inches. So that 2 inches I came in here by, I am going to be replacing it like this. Okay, I'm going to be replacing it like this. Then I'm going to be coming up here so that the trouser piece will not be pulling up. I am going to be coming up here by 1.5. Okay, if for a bigger person you can come up by 2 inches. Okay, so I'll connect my line like this. Okay, I'll connect my line this way, right? So after that is done, on your the crotch area, I'm going to be coming out here by 2 inches. Okay, when you come out here by 2 inches, come down by 1/2 inch. This is done so that the bone will relax well and the front and the back will align at the inseam area. Then I'll connect it like this. Okay, you connect it like this. Once that is done, the same 2 inches that you came out here by, you're going to be doing the same thing here. 2 inches on the hip area and 2 inches on the on the crotch area. Then I am going to be connecting it like so. Okay, so once that is connected, now on the knee area by the side, that is the outer seam, I am going to be coming out here by 1/inch. Then I'll also come here by 1 inch. Okay, come here by 1. You know the back of the trouser is usually bigger than that of the front. That is why we are doing all this. Okay, so this is what you are going to be doing. Then you connect your line like so. Okay, connect a line like so. Now the next thing we need to do now is this. I'm going to be connecting this line to meet at the at the knee area. Okay, so I'll connect the line to meet at the knee area like this. I hope you understand. So now we are going to be connecting this to this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I will make my connection to meet this, okay, at the waistline. Then our trouser piece for the back is ready. So guys, if at this point you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment. If you like this video, please guys drop a comment and hit on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I will just trace out the lines. Okay, then we can now cut out. Hi guys, so I forgot to add seam allowance at the so guys, I forgot to add um I forgot to add zipper allowance. Okay, I'm supposed to add zipper to the back of the trouser. Okay, so I forgot to add zipper allowance to the back of the trouser. So what I'm going to do now is this, for the sake of those that will be confused on how to add zipper allowance to your trouser piece, okay, for the back. Sorry, I forgot. So what we are going to do now is this. Now what I'm going to do, this is how to add zipper allowance to the back of your trouser. Let me show you guys how to do that. God, I forgot. So what I'm going to do now is this. You are going to be adding, let's say it's 1 inch zipper allowance, you add 1 inch. Okay, so this is how to add zipper allowance to the back of your trouser. 1 inch all the way to the hip line. Then you just connect from this actual crush extension area to meet the 1 inch. So if you are coming towards the down part, instead of sewing in 1 inch for your zipper allowance, you're going to be sewing half inch at this part. I hope you understand. Okay, so this is how I add my zipper allowance to my trouser piece if I'm adding the zipper to the back. But for this, I've already cut it and I forgot that I was supposed to add zipper allowance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be adding the zipper to the side. Okay, so that's about that. So let me just cut it out. So we are done with cutting of the trouser piece. So the next thing we are going to do now is to go to the sewing machine and we are going to join. Now it's very simple. What I'm going to do now is I'll go to the machine and join by half of an inch here. Okay, this is the front piece. I'll go to the machine and join by half of an inch all the way to the waist, and I'll also join by half of an inch all the way to the top part. Then I'll come back and show you guys how to. I want to sew the crush area. Now the next thing you need to do here is I'll go to my sewing machine and I'll sew by half of an inch, okay, that I used to we added half 1 inch for the sewing allowance, so half inch here by the on the crush area, then half inch on the sides. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and sew this outer seam by half of an inch, then I'll come back and show you guys how it looks like. Hey guys, so what I did was this is a finished outlook. Okay, so you can just go ahead to sew by the side by the amount of inches that you added as your seam allowance, and you cut 2 inches wide of band. Okay, then your how long the band will be determine how your waist measurement is. So thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.